This is episode 387 of No. That's right. That's a proper reaction to that. 387 of No Laugh Track podcast here at Acme Comedy Studios here in Minneapolis. And I said I'm here with my three-time guest, Dean Edwards.
Got my three-peat on.
That's right.
I feel like the Phil. No, I was gonna say Phil Jackson, but Pat.
Phil Jackson in 1995.
Yeah. Phil Jackson 95. Now I'm gonna do the 92, the first cycle of the three. Yeah, so 95. Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Three-peat.
Dallas Cowboys, didn't they do three-peat?
Did that? See, I'm not a football head.
Okay.
I think they did,
Yeah.
but I'm not a football head, so don't quote me. Don't be mad. I'm sorry.
What? I just heard a Cowboys fan at the door. They're pissed
Right,
or not.
right. They get very passionate.
Yeah. So how have you been, Dean?
I've been
it's
cool,
September
man.
already.
Yes. Finally, can we make it through 2020?
Yeah.
Perhaps. Hopefully.
You were not here, unless I'm forgetting. You weren't here last year, right? 2019.
Nah, Louis, y'all didn't have me here in 2019. We got to work on.
I mean, I'm not saying you should point fingers. I don't know if it's on you or someone here.
No.
I don't know, but
we'll make sure we because I think this is my third time. I've done 2016, 2018, 2020. So I'm on the odds. So we want on the even. So we got to fill in those odds as well.
You're on Olympic years.
Yeah,
is what we're doing
almost.
here.
Yeah, Olympic and voting election years. So
Except it's going to get thrown off because now the Olympics are
right
next year.
Right. Which is odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just in Japan in November, and
oh really?
Yeah, and I saw, and it's funny because I was in South Africa in 2009, and I remember seeing some of the stadiums as they were building them. They were under construction. So there's two times I've been in Olympic cities. I was in Cape Town and Johannesburg in 2009.
Jeez.
Right before. That's what I became more international in 2009 as far as a comic. I also traveled with my family, and we went to Japan last in November.
Oh, that was a family trip?
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, I've just been fortunate enough and blessed to be able to travel, and I honestly, big salute to my man Ahmed, very funny comedian, Egyptian American comic, because he's the one that helped make me even more international. We were doing a tour in 2009. Nando's is a big chicken spot in South Africa.
Okay.
And they had a comedy festival, the Johannesburg Comedy Festival. Nando's was a sponsor, and then they also did it in Cape Town. So we were over in South Africa for a month. Myself, it was an international festival, so you had myself, Ahmed, Angelo Saroukis, who's he's Greek out of Canada. Kira Sultanovich, who's Russian American, and Trevor Noah when he just was bubbling.
Never heard. Trevor
This young South African comedian. I see big things for the kid, and Loiso Gola, who's also another talented South African comic, man. And we were there for a month. It was awesome. It was awesome for the first 3. It was similar to quarantine, where the first couple of weeks, you were like, oh, this is cool. I'm with my family.
So I'm just supposed to stay home, put my feet up?
Yeah, but then, by week number 3, if you had a spouse or a girlfriend or boyfriend back home, you're looking like, I'm sick of this.
Can I tell you something, Dean? So quarantine hits, and soon after it hits, I have a new baby.
Oh, congratulations.
I have a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Oh, wow, y'all took time off.
Yeah, well, different mom. I got divorced and married and had another kid.
These things happen.
That's right.
Salute to that.
Thank you. So she just turned 1 last week, as a matter of fact. But the person that my daycare couldn't be around for almost 2 months.
Oh.
So I had to stop working and stay home and take care of my baby.
How was that? Because you've been through it, but
I didn't
been
do
many years. Oh, you never
not
were
like that.
Mr. Mom.
Never.
So you got your Michael Keaton on.
Yep.
How was
drying the buns in the hand dryer.
Right, that's funny. That's funny.
It went really well, and we
That's good.
We bonded quite a bit.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I think it was really good. But
boy or girl? You had a
girl. I have
okay,
3
little
daughters.
girl. Oh, man,
yeah, I did something wrong in the past.
No, you know
No,
what?
I'm kidding. I love it.
actually can't stand that because it's like, how about you did something right and you were blessed with 3 little princesses.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
Exactly.
Of course, I wouldn't.
Exactly.
I absolutely wouldn't. But in addition to that, my wife started working from home.
Okay.
So, and it's a really small house, so I'm working it. And
Yeah.
I'm basically in the office with her
Okay.
all day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. How's that been?
That's been interesting because then now I'm like, we're sort of like quasi sucked into the office drama, a little bit. That's been very strange.
That's funny if it's just you and her in the office, but you're talking to your baby daughter like, I don't know who she thinks she is. I had the space first.
Won't stop crying shit all over the place.
Right. That's funny.
Who is he talking about? But so, and as someone like you who is a master at impressions,
Thank you.
I have. I mean, I'm not going to do it. Nobody would understand. But I think I could do now a pretty good one of my wife's boss.
Oh, really?
I have picked up on all of her. I mean,
ticks.
Yeah. And like for you, is that something that you did in the past? Like if you're picking up a new one, like being quiet and just watching.
Well, I think that's what most people most comics in general, I think we're observant, and we're watchers, and that's why we bring things on stage, and people sit in the audience like, yeah, that does happen to me. My wife is like that. My husband is like that. Impressionists take it one step further because we actually are studying someone's being, someone's total existence, and sometimes not realizing it. Like I had
That's a great point.
Yeah, I had Daryl Hammond. I do this Monday night since the quarantine. This past April, I started doing my podcast again, but on IG Live.
Yeah, you stopped doing the audio version.
I got late. I just, it wasn't fun anymore. It started feeling like a chore and work.
Then it was time to be done.
There are about 170 episodes of the Father Muckin Protocol that are online, and you can find them. And we've had I looked back recently, and I just started. That's being in quarantine. I was like, I miss my friends. Let me hear us talk. And there's some great conversations. But Godfrey, a good friend of mine, who's a comic, Godfrey, he was like, dude, yeah, man, I've been doing lives and just going for hours. So I said, you know what, maybe I'll start doing the thing on Monday night on IG Live, bring the podcast back and just have comics and guests and get in their heads. And we've had everyone from Tiffany Haddish to Jim Gaffigan. Last month, the month of August, I had my favorite, it was impressionists, comedians that do impressions month. So I had Jay Farrow. I had a bunch of SNL alums. So I had Finesse Mitchell ended July with us. And then I started, Finesse, good dude. And then we started August. We had Jay Farrow. We had Afion Crockett. We had Aries Spears.
I watched some of that one.
Yeah, Aries was awesome. They all were. And then my buddy Cool Bob Ice, and this past Monday we had Daryl Hammond.
I watched a lot of that one too.
Yeah, and it's what I found interesting was we all have a similar origin story. We all, were watching cartoons when we were kids, and we started mimicking Bugs Bunny or Elmer Fudd or whomever, and you hear that and you're like, my tribe,
right?
I found my people, and so I think that's for us. Anytime I hear it, I don't even know if I know. People always ask, how do you pick up an audition? I'm like, I don't necessarily study it. It's just I know my voice, my instrument now. If I hear a voice and I like it, if there's something interesting, if I listening to Tracy, you're around him and you start picking up his tics and the way he moves, and his mouth sort of hangs and droops a little bit, and his mannerisms and how he stares at you intently, like he when he looks at you, he's looking through you. He wants you to feel that, And that's not something I wasn't sitting there like watching like, ooh, so he does that, you know. But you're around it enough, and you start. That's your mutant power. You just pick up on it.
Does it help if someone has like a phrase or something that they say a lot?
Well, yeah, of course, because then it's like, I mean, you know, like watching Good Times and hearing Dynamite. You know, someone has something, so you key into that. What you find with, you know, the average human being, everyone has a tick, has some nuance.
My wife's boss has one.
Oh, what's the nuance? What's the tick?
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
They're looking for, like a psychoanalysis would say, they need acceptance.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I guarantee she doesn't know she's saying it.
Probably not.
She can't possibly know she's saying it that much.
Yeah, probably not. I used to.
It's fascinating.
I used to say "and whatnot" when I'll say for the first probably 5 or 6 years. I used to say "and whatnot" and didn't realize it. And then rest in peace to this guy, Monteria Ivy, who he was, I don't know if you remember the old Uptown Comedy Club, but he was the host of the show, and then he was the voiceover / intro to the HBO half-hour comedies from probably 90 to 94, 95. So when Chris Rock and Jeff Garland and Dave Chappelle, actually Chris's first 2 specials, when you heard, he was like, ladies and gentlemen, you've seen him at CB4. You've seen him in Give It Up for Chris Rock. And I knew Monty because he was from Uptown, but he also had his own club at the National Black Theater in Harlem called Monty's Crib every Sunday night. And they had a workshop for comics before the show. And so we'd come in and talk. And one time he just started calling me Dean Edwards and whatnot. I was like, what's that and whatnot? He was like, you always say and whatnot. And I was like, I didn't realize I was there. And then when he said that, you're like, oh gosh, am I doing that? And so I stopped. Yeah. But I was glad he said something, because a couple months later I wound up taping Def Comedy Jam, and I would have hated to have watched that now and said, oh damn, why shut up? Dude.
Why was I doing that?
Right.
Yeah.
But because everyone has a crutch, you know, everyone has a crutch. And I think it's probably a bit of insecurity. You're insecure towards the dead silence.
Sure.
And so you're filling it in.
Yeah, that's part of it for sure.
And it's like that's your way of saying, right, your turn. you go now.
I'm down. You go. Hurry
right.
Up, but fast.
Right.
Hey, so I want to talk about last night, because as I told you a little bit before we started recording, I once again watched from Zoom at home. And as I've just said to you, I know I got a baby at home, so it also, you know.
Oh, that's perfect, man.
Right?
Yeah.
Kind of timed out well for me to have Zoom as an option with a newborn.
Oh,
it really
dude, that's
helps.
awesome. That's why I honestly said, like, the Zooms are here to stay. Like, even once they have a cure and once people are back sharing germs, and the only thing they can transmit are, you know, STDs, right. Then, you know, people still are gonna, you know, there's still gonna be people that have families and can't make it out. When you're here at like a lovely club like Acme Comedy Club, and they'll say, well, you know what, Dean Edwards is in town. I was there last year when he was there. But I can't make it out. But I can't. Oh, they have tickets. I can watch it on Zoom. That's awesome. You know, so I think it's still a great way. Because I've had some comics like, yeah, don't you feel self-conscious? And what about, you know, like they now have your recorded material. I said, well, I don't know. I don't know if it's being stored and recorded for sale and use, dude.
No. Yeah.
I said, and B, people at home don't have access unless they want to set up their
I mean,
phone.
I guess technically you could
but
fill your whole phone with
right. But hey, you know,
that's a lot. Yeah,
that's a lot.
You're
to
dedicating
go
a lot.
Right.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
You could do that.
Yeah, but no, I don't think.
No, I mean, I would think having the more eyes on your stuff while you're working, it's gotta be good. And here, you know, we've got the kick-ass, you know, 3 cameras. They're switching back and forth. It's great. It's great. I mean, obviously, I'm looking forward to this place being filled with chairs again.
Of course.
But so one of the things you said on stage last night was 6 months. Like you haven't.
Bro,
you haven't been on a stage, but have you done any, like from the living room, anything?
I did one show in April, you know, It had been about a month in. About 2.5. So my last weekend was supposed to be. I was in West Palm. I was playing the West Palm Improv, and they asked, and it was a last minute because they had called. I had hit my agent. I said, "Hey, Godfrey and I." So we were supposed to tour the middle. We had like a 2-week tour in the Middle East at the end of March. It was a lot of money, and it got canceled. And so I called my agent like, "Yo, I need something." And so West Palm
Can
called.
Can I do 5 shows on Friday?
Right. So West Palm calls and they're like, I think maybe Marlon Wayans had to cancel because everyone was shutting down and there's a fear that was starting to build. So I was like, I'll fly down tomorrow. So I went down, and then Sunday while I was down there, my agent called and he said, you know what, Miami wants to know if you would stay, if they send a car on Monday, would you just stay in Miami in the hotel for a couple of days and then you'll do the weekend in Miami?
Oh.
And I was like, sounds good to me. And then Tuesday afternoon, the governor, I think, had a press conference and shut all nightclubs and restaurants down. So I flew home Wednesday, and that was it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, all right, well, and I think when it first started, we were all in Walking Dead mode where we need some supplies. I was like, supplies? It's just, groceries. But running to get supplies and groceries. And then we didn't leave the house really except to go to the backyard until for about 3 weeks. And 2 weeks in, a funny comic, Ali Sadiq, who's out of Houston. Yeah. Ali, funny dude. He reaches out. He's like, "Yeah, Dean, I'm doing this. I'm doing Corona comedy every Wednesday night and Friday night on IG Live. We put up your Cash App." And how he had it set up, I gotta say, for all of the online shows I've seen people do, I like how he did his with the format he used, because it felt like one of those old school rooms where he had a DJ playing music, then he'd come on, do 10 minutes, and then he would, so it's split screen. So when he introduces a comic, he steps off, you're on, whether you're standing or you're at your laptop, and you can hear him laughing. And he has a really he has a really hearty laugh.
Nice.
And you're able to see the feedback and the comments from people, which drives you. So he asked me to do it. I said yes, but then I was like, I don't want to do this. So he pushed me back a couple of weeks, and then I finally did it. It was a great experience. I actually made a really good amount of money just doing that. And I retired my number after that show. I said, "Man, I'm good.
Okay.
That's enough." And then I was supposed to do.
Can I just go?
Yeah.
So that's literally like you're putting up your Venmo or PayPal. Or
yeah,
whatever, right?
I think it was Cash App. I think we put up he had every comic put up the Cash App, and he had something where a graphic. So while you're performing, it's on the screen. And a couple of people like saying, "Man, make sure you tip this comic." And yeah, I was when I saw, like, on Monday, I looked. That was Friday, and on Monday I had a couple $100. I was like, "Oh, okay, maybe I should do this more often."
I gotta say, I need to give people more credit, because I like the fact that people are just willing, like, "Oh, you're not charging me for a ticket to something?"
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I know this person's working for it.
Right.
I'm gonna just throw him some money. That's great.
That made me, especially being that everyone, a lot of people were unemployed or out of work at the time.
Sure, try that in August and nobody had money left.
Right. The additional 600 was gone. You're like, dog,
Yeah.
I don't know, but that was the one I did. I was supposed to do another Zoom thing, but at the last minute canceled. And I was like, you know what? Rob and I from last night feature.
Rob Burrell.
Yeah. He made a good point. We were talking about it, and I said, you know what? I said, I love this too much, and I don't want to it's like this is our girl, right? And what did he say? He said it's the equivalent of someone saying, okay, well, you can't have sex, but she can give you a hand job, but she has crushed glass on her glove, so I was like, I'll wait. I'll wait a little bit longer and ride it out.
It's like a BJ, but she's got 5 sets of teeth.
Right, and all sharp teeth, So I'm like, I'll wait it out. And I'm glad I did, and I'm glad this was the first club that I had because I was just talking to Tracy Ashley earlier this morning.
Wait, she's here?
No. So just
Okay.
online, and we were talking about it. I said this, and I always tell people this is one of my favorite clubs in the country. Because Minneapolis is the city's comedy literate. And there's certain cities that you can go to. New York is comedy literate. San Fran is comedy literate. L.A., if you can get outside of the industry showcases where people are too cool for the room to laugh.
Sure. Yeah.
Comedy literate.
You're too cool to laugh?
Yeah, it's a progressive enough as far as comedy where I've always felt I can come here, especially because and you saw last night. First time I was here was right after Philando Castile was murdered, and now I'm here a week after rioting.
Me about a month ago when I saw that you were coming back. I'm like, gee, what is the timing with this?
Yeah, man.
Because I remember, you and I talked about Philando. When you were here that
year. Right.
And now here we are again.
Yeah.
What a world! I want to ask you about something in addition about like how people are doing comedy now, and if this might stick around. I saw Kevin Nealon. You know who Kevin Nealon is, of course. He's doing he's live streaming a comedy performance he's doing soon.
Okay.
And like over Zoom, and he's charging like $10, $15 or whatever.
Okay.
But you can also spend $50, and he's doing his own version of like that Cameo app, where basically for $50 it's a
like
VIP treatment, and he will record a live video,
smart.
Personalized video for you.
That's smart.
I mean, what do you think about that? Like,
you know what?
I mean, revenue is going to be down until more seats are available to fill these seats.
Right.
And there's going to have to be new ways to come up with money. I mean, have you ever thought, like, am I going to start doing stuff like that?
You know what? If you had asked me a couple of years ago, I would have said, "Oh, nah, that cheapens the brand."
And he would have said that too, probably. Don't you think?
Right. Yeah. Because remember back in the days when if you were a TV actor. If you were a film actor, you didn't do TV, and you didn't do commercials, unless they were overseas,
right? Yeah, hidden in Russia, or something. Yeah.
Right. But now everyone's at some point in the last 20 years, people are like, well, if there's a check, why wouldn't I? And if there's a check and I'm an actor, why would I not take the work?
Yeah.
It doesn't lessen it. And now, I mean, you see that's occurring with from Netflix to all the other streamers. They're Emmy nominated and Golden Globe nominated and winning, Oscar nominated. So it makes sense. So same thing with Cameo and these other apps that are sort of giving people access. They make sense because it's a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Because gone are the days. Prince. We're in Minneapolis, so Prince was mysterious, and I actually like that about Prince and that era of artists. Whether actors or musicians, singers, what have you, is that there was an anonymity. There was something.
They weren't accessible.
On
and
purpose. I like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think everything needs to be broadcast.
Very true.
Terry Bradshaw, I saw his family on Family Feud recently, and it was hilarious. So I said, and they kept promoting that he has a reality show coming out. Yes. I was like, you know what? It's a watch. They're watchable. It's entertaining, but at the same time, I don't care. I'm probably not gonna watch, because to me it's train wreck TV. All those reality shows or unscripted reality, right?
Right.
But I also get it, so I'm not mad at Kevin Nealon or anyone else, and that's not to say maybe I will at some point. Right now, I believe that we will return to a sense of a normalcy. I don't know. I don't like the term the new normal. But I think some version of normalcy is on the horizon.
One of the I forgot to mention one of the other things that's involved in that is and this I think is for everyone that does the just the basic watch his show, is he's doing just what does he call it, an after party. So like for a half an hour afterwards, he'll chat with people on Zoom,
like a little Q&A.
Yeah, and I heard you, and I know you're such a nice guy, and I know for a fact that you enjoy doing the after the shows, hanging out with people.
Yeah, man.
Now you're not really doing that, so that is a good way to get around that. Is hey, I'll hang out with you on Zoom for a half an hour.
Well, because people have questions. And regarding all other forms of entertainment, I think stand-up comedy is the one form of entertainment that people actually leave thinking they know you, even if you're just your whole act is a heightened version of who you normally are, or you might be wearing a character whereas you're not Andrew, you're Dice instead of just Andrew from Brooklyn, you know. But people wanna vibe. You know, when I was a teenager, if you told me, you wanna get online and have your parents pay. I had no money. Have your parents pay $50 and you can ask Dice about a girl that you're interested in, and he just gets on there and tells you what you need to do, and she's a hooah, and you know, you would do it. So it makes sense. I do miss that. Like, even like how the seats are set up is great considering, but you still miss the full energy of the audience coming at you, you know. And then after the show, I'm a man of the people. I like kicking it with people and thanking them, you know, because people had a million things they could have done, but they came out to support me. And I think it's reciprocal because, you know, you just performed and having someone say, hey, you know, I was having a bad week, but thank you. You know, or the first time I was here after Philando Castile, this woman, I think we spoke about this woman had questions. She was like, I don't think I'm racist, and I've gotten nervous, and we had a 10-minute conversation. She waited for the line to die down, and then we spoke about, you know, the institution of prejudice and racism, and we hugged it out at the end, you know, and because I think what we do is you know, we're sharing, and hopefully I like to, I guess, offer some sort of perspective to open people's perspectives, and I think that comes from having traveled the world doing what I do. It's given me a new outlook and understanding of, just because this is how we feel about where we live doesn't mean that we're right.
Right.
You know, and other people have a perspective that maybe we should at least listen to as well.
You said that very well. So last time you were here, I think I left with one of those cool shirts.
Oh yeah,
literally
yeah.
Cool.
With
the
K. Cool
K-O-O-L.
for the mucker. I'm cool for the mucker.
So
yeah.
there's no merch this time either.
No, you know what? I actually, before coming here, I don't have 2020 shirts. Right before, and I'm actually
you don't have the Middle East ones.
I
from the Middle East.
Yeah,
tour?
you know what? Right as this was all happening, the week that mid-March, I was putting in my order, and so when I was in Florida is when I said, you know what, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't order these because I was like, I was gonna make a killing in the Middle East. Like here I sell them for $25-$30, but there was gonna be a travel tax involved in selling them over there, because you know, and having the dates and everything. Yeah, I was excited about that, you know. But no 2020 shirts, but you know, they'll be back, and you know, and I've had a lot of people, because I wear the 3 different colors or versions of the shirts when I do my Monday Night Live, and people are like, where can I get a shirt? And I'm like, well, when I do another order, but you know, in the meantime, patience, my child.
I know, like Chad Daniels, comedian Chad Daniels, he printed shirts up for the tour he was going to do this spring. That obviously never happened. So just a few weeks ago, he was posting them online for like $10 or something, huge discount.
Yeah, of course.
Here's all the dates that never happened.
Yeah,
sort of like when they print the Super Bowl or World Series champ.
The other team. That's I always wonder what happened to those shirts when you see, like, wow, did they have a printer on site? And you're like,
damn, they do that fast.
No, they didn't. There's a collector's item that's about to wind up in a dumpster.
I worked at a Final Four, one of them that they had in Minneapolis here. Arizona, Duke, one of those teams won it. Lauren Woods was
Sounds about right.
Anyway, so I was working at a stand in the hallway during the game, like the championship game Monday night.
Oh wow!
And at halftime, they bring up the 2 boxes
Wow.
of all the champion T-shirts and hats and stuff, and it's like sealed like this way, this way, this way, this way, with all these. If this is tampered with or opened, you have to pay for all of them. And you're gonna lose your job. And
wow! Okay.
So I was like, it's so tempting.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I just want to take one with.
So you were there for one shining moment.
Yeah. I've done work 2 of them actually. Over the years.
Wow!
We just had it. The last one that occurred was 2019, and that was here.
Yeah, dude. I actually that's when it really hit me.
And they called off
at the end of March. I was like, "There's no one shining moment." We look like I look for. I just got goosebumps. That's one thing I look forward to.
Yeah.
In March, it's not just the madness, but just hearing Luther Vandross sing that one shining moment. We didn't get that this year. 2020 stinks.
Right now, as we speak, this Minnesota State Fair would be going on.
Oh wow!
I mean, a thing I've gone to every year of my life.
Jeez.
But I got a 1-year-old baby. I can't go to.
Right. Oh gosh.
No fair.
Damn you, COVID!
It's no fair that there's no fair. But we should. I mentioned this before. I want to mention. So Brian Scolaro.
Good friend of mine. Good friend. Brian, I always we me and like 2 or 3 other friends, we always quote some of Scolaro's jokes because what was great about coming up in New York in the mid 90s was we would just sit in the back of Boston Comedy Club and there might not be a lot of patrons, but comics were always in the back
hanging out. And waiting for their time.
Yeah, and everybody had like a bit. And Scolaro had he had a bit about and I want to go. I'd love to go. I'd love to dress as Jesus and just go sit in the back of a church, while the preacher's preaching, I just like, boo, that can't happen. Bullshit. He's funny. The sneezing joke. Yeah. Yeah, man. Scalaro is funny, man. Support Brian Scolaro, good friend.
Yes, so I want to take a second here just to point out that first of all, friend him on Facebook if you haven't. Follow his stuff. Yeah. He mentioned this to me. He and I had a good talk about this on the last time we did the podcast and then off. And he has MS. Yeah. And he needs a medication every month that he does not have the money for. Wow. The guy's an actor. He's done commercials. Yeah. When you get them, they pay. Yeah. But when you're not booking them, especially right now when nothing's happening, he's hurting for this money. So if you like Brian, if you like this podcast, if you have a few extra dollars, I encourage you to go to the GoFundMe for Brian and throw him some money to help for this medication. It helps him a ton.
Scolaro, Scolaro. Brian, Brian Scolaro. Please.
And he's like, and I give him so much credit for like not just. And he told me like I don't want to sound like I'm begging for money. Right. So he's trying to work for it. Like he's doing a Patreon now where he's putting out like 5 videos a week for people to give him what is it? Like just a few bucks a month. Right. So he's like he wrote a book with some of his best bits last year. Yeah, like he made his own book. So he's trying hard to give something to get the money that he needs back.
Like honestly, I don't know what camera. Look, I just turn like going. Listen, guys, zoom in. Camera number 2, zoom in on me. Eddie Murphy voice. Please make sure you donate. You know this man, Brian Scolaro is a very, very funny man, and more than that, talented, but he's willing to work for it. Everybody's not willing to work for it. Brian's willing to work for it. So please go donate to Brian Scolaro's GoFundMe. Go follow him on Facebook. Go follow his Patreon. Brian Scolaro, very funny young man, been doing his thing for many years. And he's one of those cats, during all of this, and I don't know who I was talking to. I was talking to Aries. When I was talking to Aries, we were talking about what success is, right? Because we have this phrase fell off, or someone fell off or has fallen off because you haven't seen them. Mm-hmm. And, the general public has a tendency to say, well, if I see someone in a big movie or on TV show every week, then they're successful. But if you were on TV years ago and I don't see you ever again, well, you're not successful. And Aries pointed out, he was like, he was like, Dean, I was on Mad TV for 10 years. And he was like, I haven't been on TV consistently for 15 years, but I still go and make a great living. I just hosted the AVN Awards out in Vegas for a second time and got a nice mid 5-figure salary for one night of work. And I said, well, that's the misconception. People don't realize we all work. We all still are working and have been working. I haven't been like SNL was many years ago, but I still work. I built up enough of a following and fan base and belief from people like Lewis and the rest of the clubs that said, who's a solid comic and comes in every time and wins, and people pay Dean Edwards. So we have careers that we're like, rest in peace, Cliff Robinson, who just passed away.
The basketball player?
Yeah, basketball player. Journeyman basketball player, but played, 18, 19
Long time.
years and is like top 5 all time as far as games played consistently. And I also went to school with his brother.
Oh.
Who was equally good but wouldn't go to class. Poor damn you, Craig. But that to say, you know what? Everyone wants to be LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Magic, but there are a lot of Robert Ory's who, people are familiar but don't realize he has 6 rings.
Yeah.
Right? Cliff Robinson played that many years and people don't know him like that. But when you look at his stats, this dude had a nice career, and so that's who someone like Brian is. You may not know his name, but when you see him, you're like, oh yeah, that's that guy.
Absolutely.
And it's hella funny.
Very funny.
Super
Very
funny.
funny. Super creative too. I
Yeah,
encourage people to look up his. He does a podcast too, which is fucking wild.
Yeah,
I
Brian's
encourage
a
people
nut.
to check that out. Dean, this has been great. People need to come see you the rest of the week here.
Oh.
Follow you on your social media, like you've been on
Yeah.
Instagram.
At I am Dean Edwards. That's who I am. So
Those interviews that you've been doing, the podcast or the video podcast you've been
yeah.
doing, they've been great.
oh, thank you.
And I
Thank you.
know
I'm glad.
that you and I talked briefly before we started, and you mentioned it on stage last night. You can't say what it is, but there may be something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. Keep an eye out. I'm thinking that we're supposed to be doing something in October that I'm hoping will land by the end of the year. And when you see it, you'll say, "Oh, that's what he was talking about," because it's something big that I wish I could tell y'all about. But like I said earlier, until my name is signed on the dotted line, it's not dotted. I never understood why I say the dotted line because it's a solid line.
Must have been at some point.
Yeah,
Somebody had to research
when we were using quills, right?
You don't want to. If I guess it, will you say? Are you third-party candidate for president? You're going to throw your hat in the ring.
You know what? I'm just saying, keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Thank you, Dean.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks y'all for watching.